I can talk about Superman and DC and comic books ad nauseum, but
Okay, so
I
sorry, my bad.
I have never in my entire life, because the old Superman movies came out before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Keaton Batman came out the year I was born.
Okay.
So in my life, I have never been as excited for or happy about a live action DC project as this.
Oh.
I watched the trailer. I think I lost count at like 20 times, and I couldn't for the first week straight. I could not get through that trailer without crying,
Oh,
without
that deep for
tearing
you?
up. It just hits a part of me that I honestly thought was dead and gone for
Was it
like
crypto?
no, it wasn't crypto.
Oh, okay.
And look, crypto's cool,
Uh-huh.
right? I like crypto. I like the cryptos here. That's really freaking cool, especially
Mm-hmm.
because we've never had big screen live action crypto before. That's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. But no, it's not because of crypto. I thought I was done with DC, like done,
Mm-hmm.
and totally moved on and removed from anything that they could do in live action. I didn't think that they had it in them truly to grip me like this movie is. And we've talked about my adventures with Superman and
Yes.
how
Great show. I recommend it to the
phenomenal
audience.
a show that is. And how I was saying, like, it gives me hope because it seems like DC intends to care
Mm-hmm.
about Superman's characterization again,
Mm-hmm.
and how he comes off and who he is. And from the trailer, it seems like this movie does that. And even that
Mm-hmm.
is not why. The reason why it makes me cry is because for the first time since the Christopher Reeve films, I really feel like the character I'm looking at on screen is Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean Superman as an icon or an institution. I mean Superman as a feeling,
Mm-hmm.
as an emotion, as hope. The trailer instills hope in me the way that Superman is supposed to, the way that really the reason why Superman even is, the reason why Superman was successful ever,
Mm-hmm.
because he gives people that kind of hope.
Mm-hmm.
I pointed this out to my friends as we were talking about the trailer after it had dropped, but there's really brief snippets
Mm-hmm.
in there, one or two, of some action scenes, right? And by which I mean like fight scenes, battle scenes.
Yes.
In other Superman movies, these were the focus, these were the highlights. Batman versus Superman was about a fight.
Mm-hmm.
The Zack Snyder Superman movie, it all boiled down to Superman versus Zod. That's not what Superman's about, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the point of Superman. Superman is not supposed to be this infallible alien god who beats down anything he comes up against.
Yeah.
The cool parts of Superman to me are not when he's fighting against a character like Brainiac or Metallo or Doomsday or Parasite and winning.
Mm-hmm.
The cool part to me is when Superman is doing what Superman is supposed to do, when Superman is saving and helping people.
Mm-hmm.
That should be the focus. That is the point of Superman's character. There was one scene in that trailer, exactly one scene in that trailer that got the slowed down bullet time treatment. It was like the focus scene of the trailer, the, hey, pay attention to this. This is important.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a fight scene like it would have been in a trailer for Batman versus Superman or for the Zack Snyder Superman. It wasn't any kind of like flashy action scene. It was Superman sliding in and shielding the child from the collapsing building, getting ready to pull her away and out of harm's way. That was the scene that got the bullet time treatment.
Right.
And it made me fucking ugly cry because that is Superman. That is what Superman should be.
You know what? I said that on the last episode to my brother-in-law. It wasn't about the movie though. But that's probably why it hit me that way, because I'm like, if they want to make a good Superman game, we know how to make fighting, we know how to make action in video games. A big part of it should be you slowing down time to save people from buildings and stuff. That should be your health bar.
Exactly. That's the point of him as a character.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't even mean like the time element as in like time was being slowed so that he could do it. It was like,
no, I knew what you meant. I'm just saying that's how we should perceive it in the game.
Yes, that would rule.
Mm-hmm.
DC has other characters that the point of them is like that they are ego the character and they just roll over everything in their way.
Yeah.
Batman is that character. Batman works really well in that capacity. That's what Batman does. Batman somehow outthinks everybody else, is always ready and beats the shit out of people and moves on. And the issue that DC had for the longest time as responsible by, or rather the powers that be there being to blame for this, the boardroom execs who all they saw was the bottom line, was when the Dark Knight was doing really well, when the Nolanverse films were doing really well, when Batman comics were doing really well, they looked at all of that and said, well, this is what people want. We should make all of our characters like Batman. And that was the beginning of a whole lot of problems for DC and their characters, because Batman works really well as Batman. You know who doesn't work really well as Batman? Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, The Flash.
Yeah.
They're supposed to, and Aquaman. They're supposed to all be different characters, but when we got around the Justice League, they all just felt like the same goddamn character 7 times over.
And everything looked like a dark Batman movie.
Because that's what they thought the people wanted. Clearly, it was not what people wanted.
Also, that's what happens when you follow trends, because movies, if you follow trends in a movie, that's a risky thing, because you're taking time to produce these trends that by the time you made it, they change. And those people who you think you're appeasing don't even exist anymore. Whereas the people like us, we just want them the way they're supposed to be. We're like, why'd you give this to us?
Yep. Absolutely. Like even if God forbid Superman ever worked in the capacity of being a Batman-like character, and in alternate timelines and alternate universes, there are versions of Superman that do function really well that way, but I'll circle back to that in a bit. But the version, or the Earth 1 Superman, the Superman that all of this concerns, does not. By the time even if there's a crowd, as perceived, that would be played to by putting out a film that revolves around the version of Superman like that, as you said, the internet's a fickle place, and by the time that movie drops, people forget and move on. And it leaves people like us looking at this like, who was this for?
Yeah, actually.
But now, we have a trailer for a Superman movie where there were 2 spoken lines in the entire trailer. One of them was Crypto, home, take me home. The other one was the little kid at the border of the terrorist conflict.
Yes.
Raising a homemade flag built out of scrap metal and wood to the sky, and half whispering Superman's name like a prayer to come and help them. I can already tell that this movie is going to break my ribcage open with its hands, grab my heart, pull it out, and throw it somewhere the fuck else, and I will thank it for it.
Okay, I mean, I'm with you. It looks like it's gonna be like legit fun, legit good. What was I gonna say? One thing that works about Superman that I feel like they're gonna lean into, I don't know how much time they're gonna have, but I feel like his supporting cast is gonna matter.
Yes, and so speaking to that, with there not only being the Lois, Jimmy, Lex Luthor, and oh my god, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, even in the little bit that we got in the trailer, just his facial tics and the emotion in that, he's going to be the best Lex Luthor we've ever had, and it's not going to be close. But we have the usual Superman suspects, Ma and Pa Kent on top of those, juxtaposed with a character we haven't even seen in the trailer yet, Maxwell Lord, and his Justice League, Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl. And people are like, I don't know. this is feeling kind of bloated, too many characters. And at first I was with them, and then I was like, nah, this is James Gunn. That's what he does, right? Guardians, Suicide Squad. He knows how to make the most with large casts.
Yes.
I feel like this is going to work.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, and yeah, they don't got to take up too much space. So and he knows how to do that.
Yeah. I feel like exactly what you said. Maxwell Lord's Justice League will be supporting cast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't envision a scenario, especially, not with what we've seen so far, where this movie loses sight of the goal.
Mm-hmm.
It's already shown how well it understands the assignment, and I don't see them taking the spotlight from Superman.
I would have to agree.
And to
James
that
Gunn
end,
writing and directing is just directing.
I want to say writing and directing, but I could be wrong.
Because I do have faith. I have faith in him as a writer too.
Same.
He's writing it. He wrote it.
Sweet. And I was speaking with another friend of mine about the movie after the trailer dropped, and he was saying all of that's well and good, but I really hope that they don't fall into the same pitfall with this that like they did with Suicide Squad. I really hope that the studio gets out of his way and just lets him cook. And I was like, well, they're not going to have a choice. And he's like, why is that? And I'm like, because he's not just the director of this movie. He's the co-CEO.
A lot of people don't know that.
Of the studio now. He's the boss.
Yeah,
he gets to do whatever the hell he wants.
He's like their Feige, basically.
Yes.
The difference is Feige never steps down to direct.
Yeah, this is just sink or swim. This is on James Gunn.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's about to hit it out of the park. DC is about to go the hell off.
So when it comes out, would this be your first DCU movie or DCU property you be a part of?
I don't understand the question.
Okay, so Creature Commandos came out. That's the soft launch to the DC. Did you watch that or no?
No, but I did see Blue Beetle, and that's also supposed to be part of it.
Got it. Okay.
And I really liked Blue Beetle.
I started it, and I just never forgot to go back. I mean, I never remembered to go back.
I would recommend it. It's really fun.
Okay, I will. Just because, I tend to watch all those type of movies just to have an opinion on them to begin with. I just forgot. I
haven't seen Creature Commando yet.
It's good. I can't tell if you'll like it or not, but from my honest opinion, it was good.
So Danny Ritchie, the do 3D print stuff, he saw it and he's been telling me about it, and he's like, you'd really like it. So
okay,
I will get around to it.
Okay. It's only 7 episodes, half hour maybe. So it's just when you get time.
Yeah. And pretty soon here I'm gonna be looking to put together my Gambit cosplay, and when I'm doing stuff for that, I'll have that on in the background.
Okay. Is that your next cosplay?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep, Gambit in the near future, and then for Too Many Games, I'm going to have Solid Snake together.
I don't have a game cosplay. I need to look into that. I feel like Spider-Man is kind of cheating.
Not at all. Just do the, game version of the suit. Good to go. Or not.
I have a game version, actually.
The game had comic book suits in it.
Right. Okay. Then there we go. I'll save money right there. I got a suit coming out that I'm not going to tell the podcast until... Dang, I wish time could go faster. I got a suit coming out.
I know that feeling.
It's on brand with this episode. It's I'll announce it. You know what? I'll probably have you on for that episode. I'll probably just wear it that day.
Sweet.
But
I'll wear my Scarlet Spider.
There we go. But okay, so this movie, it's hard to guess how things would hit you, but do you see it being any less than a 7 out of 10?
Score. Look, I don't like to, especially not with something this touchy and sensitive, because this is going to be a really important thing.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't like to put
numbers,
expectations on projects like this, but also within the first, I think it was 36 hours, it became the most viewed trailer in DC history.
Yes.
By a landslide.
Yep.
And, it's only gone up from there. The entire world is watching to see what becomes of this, and they had to know that going in. Especially James Gunn.
He'll at least do first week numbers.
He's too self-aware.
He's very self-aware. I follow him on Instagram and Threads. He knows what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. So, bearing in mind everything I just said, and that I do believe that they finally understand the assignment here,
Mm-hmm.
I would genuinely be shocked if I had some opportunity to talk to a future version of myself that had seen this movie, and he told me that it was anything less than a 9 out of 10.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's kind of where I'm going. Like, for me, worst case scenario is like 8, and I'm fine with 8s.
Especially when it comes to DC, because the so far, well, not that it matters anymore, because thankfully it's all going to be goddamn retcons, but the previous DCEU, the movie that I consider to be the best movie in that entire span,
Mm-hmm.
Shazam.
Okay.
I would put it an 8 out of 10.
Okay. I'm fine with Shazam. There's things that didn't work for me in it, but like that's me as a critic.
Well, there's things that didn't work for me in it too, which is why it's an 8 out of 10. But
Yeah.
I still believe it to be the best part of the previous DCEU.
Got you. See, I don't know what my best DC movie is. See, I'm a Wonder Woman person, I think.
And Wonder Woman's very good.
Mm-hmm.
And if not for how they depicted Ares,
Mm-hmm.
it would be up there with Shazam for me.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm just happy that they're restarting this. It's a shame they had to waste people like ideas, but I mean, it's not a waste because it's going to get retconned. We're going to see our characters again soon.
Yeah.
And sometimes like they had to mess up badly to give us something we love, apparently, or something we may love, I should say.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it took them long enough to get here, but I feel like for the first time, maybe ever,
Mm-hmm.
they have a real opportunity in front of them to finally translate this most important of characters from the pages to the big screen and stick the landing.
You know what's really crazy?
Because DC as a universe, Batman may be their best seller.
Mm-hmm.
He may be their most popular character. But DC as a universe does not work without Superman as an anchor point.
I think I have to agree with that. And I try to tell people that don't know better. They're like, oh, no, I don't see it. Why is he important? I'm like, that's because you're not really in the mix. Or they're in their so they just know the new world of Marvel being the main thing. Whereas we grew up with, you could like DC and Marvel, but this new world's like, why would you like DC? And I get it. So this is going to show how DC has something to show too.
And speaking for a moment, because I meant to bring this up
Mm-hmm.
earlier with Maxwell Lord's Justice League and the supporting characters and everything, the biggest indicator so far that there's no intention there for them to like even stand on even... Oh, and Mr. Terrific too. I only brought up Guy and Hawkgirl, but Mr. Terrific is one of them as well.
I think he's going to be the one that gets the most screen time.
Probably, deservedly so. But the biggest indicator so far that they're not going to overshadow Superman is Guy Gardner and his depiction.
Mm-hmm.
There are a whole lot of people on the internet right now complaining about his bowl cut.
That's the thing.
But it's comic accurate.
Yes.
And it is. That's, for the longest time, how he was depicted, with a bowl cut.
Yeah.
He didn't get the, like, edgy little, barely there faux hawk flippy thing until the 2000s.
Okay.
And something I thought was really hilarious, I'd have to go find the dude's name. I forget what it was, but the guy who drew his Justice League run,
Mm-hmm.
the guy who is essentially responsible for the bread and butter foundational depiction of Guy Gardner,
Yes.
posted a still from the trailer with him with the bowl cut, and the caption was, "Yeah, that looks like something I would draw." So,
oh yeah, I did see that.
So to all the people out there complaining, the powers that be are not on your side. But I digress.
Yeah, I did see that.
Even more than the bowl cut, though that goes hand in hand with what I'm about to say,
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Fillion's facial expressions as Guy Gardner,
Yeah.
nail in the head. Because Guy is a character through that at different points through his publication history, DC has had no idea what to do with. That's how we got Warrior Guy Gardner. when they were looking to separate him from the Green Lantern Corps and give him his own identity, and then that didn't really work out. That's why he's been a part of not just the Green Lantern Corps, but so many others as well, when they were trying to find something for him to do that would stick in the wake of the Sinestro Corps War and Brightest Day and so on and so forth. But when Guy Gardner, when they do know what to do with Guy Gardner, when he has his own identity front and center, he's an annoying asshole.
Yeah. That's
and I mean that very lovingly, because he's a great character. He's an awesome character, and he always has been. But the dude he's like a school bully with superpowers.
Yeah.
And Nathan Fillion's facial expressions as him, even in the little bit that we got in that trailer, came off to me like a Saturday morning cartoon, Why I Oughta, Fred Flintstone type ass.
Yeah, like, did you ever see...
And it's perfect.
Did you ever see, what's this called? It's a cartoon, Batman Brave and the Bold?
Yeah, and Guy's in it.
Yeah, he's in it. That was a good way for people who didn't read the comics to understand how he is.
Yeah. Yep. Guy Gardner is the Flash Thompson of DC, but with superpowers. And I know about Agent Venom. Yeah. We can get into that in a separate discussion.
But he was already humble by then.
For the most part, Flash didn't have superpowers.
Yeah, but I'm saying by the time he had Venom, he was already like...
Yeah.
mature.
And Agent Venom's a great character. But circling back around to what I was saying,
the
biggest indicator to me that these characters are not going to overshadow Superman is not only are they nailing Superman's characterization, they're nailing the characterization of everybody else involved here too. And when I look at Guy Gardner and how he already is, Hawker on how she already is, Mr. Terrific and all, and how he already is, they look ready to settle into those classic supporting Justice League roles.
Yes.
And be what they need to be, not necessarily beside Superman, but slightly behind him as well. Ready to support him. I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready for it. When's it coming out again? I'm so bad with dates.
It's coming out 2 days before my birthday.
I don't remember your birthday, Dan.
Oh, damn. Well, my birthday is July 13th, and it's coming out July 11th.
Wait, July 13th?
And I'm taking that whole day off.
I'm putting that on my calendar now.
Because it's a Friday, and I've got an emo night that night, and I'm just going to go see it in theaters during the day with whoever wants to come, and it's going to be freaking awesome.
Oh, I'm going to have to get a Superman shirt for that.
Hell yeah.
I know I wish you happy birthday last year. Usually when I do that, it adds it to my calendar automatically.
I'm terrible with dates. If not for Facebook, I would never know when anyone's birthday was.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I mean, I've leaned on that a lot, so I never had to.
There you go. There's my number one use for Facebook, is it tells me when people's birthdays are.
That's fair. Yeah. Oh, that's a good way to circle back. Yeah. Tells me birthdays. For audience members that don't know, half my family lives in Liberia, so I get to interact with them. And I guess I see people celebrate their birthdays and graduations and whatever. That's the main reason for Facebook. And I guess some of y'all watching me on there right now, so there's that.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
So going back to what I was saying earlier, the topic that I wanted to bring up with Superman in regards to formalism, going all the way back to when I mentioned this with Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson's movies are movie-ass movies. They are bright. They are colorful. They are movies in the grand and classic tradition of Hollywood movies. The characters are stylized. They're over the top. They fit into clear, defined roles. Tropes even. But in that way, it's refreshing because nobody's really making movies like that anymore. Other than Wes Anderson. This Superman movie is going to be a formalist Superman movie. It's a Superman-ass Superman movie. The characters are stylized. They're tropey. They're campy. They're fun. They are what DC was back in their heyday.
Yeah.
When people loved them for it. And that's it, man. They're bringing everything back to their roots.
I think it'll be campy with balance.
Oh, for sure. It's not going to be like, Challenge of the Super Friends.
Yeah.
Campy. but it's going to be Superman is a big, lovable farm boy from Kansas in blue spandex with his drawers on the outside. Here we go.
So he's going to be like, I imagine him, he's going to be like a more, I don't think you watched the show, but it's going to be like a more realistic character from Ted Lasso.
I haven't seen Ted Lasso yet, but it's on my list.
You'll love it,
especially
especially since you like
things about it.
It's a positive show. Like, it's a very uplifting show. You'll like it. You'll probably love it.
And that too, another thing that I wanted to talk about, this Superman movie, it's coming at exactly the right time. The world needs a formal Superman movie, not a depressing Superman movie.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm pretty well and tired of the, hey, what if Superman was shitty trope?
Yeah, I mean, we got that enough with Homelander.
We had that with Watchmen, and that was enough for me, right?
Yeah.
I love Watchmen. Watchmen's great, but I don't need another what if Superman was shitty.
That happened with, I don't know if you watched
I don't care about The Boys. I don't care about Invincible. I didn't need it to keep happening.
Yeah, it happened twice in the same network.
Yeah. And with the Snyder films, it kept happening over and over and over again. He may not have been a shitty person, but he was a shitty Superman.
They made him kill someone in the first outing. The whole city was destroyed in the first outing. He died in his second outing.
Yeah.
It's like, what's happening here?
And I get what they were going for, but I never felt like I was watching Superman.
They forced, what's his name? The director of Dark Knight. Nolan.
Christopher Nolan.
They forced him to be a producer on Man of Steel. He dipped afterwards.
And who could blame him?
Yeah. It's like, what is this? This is dark for no reason.
The world is not in a good place right now. There's a lot of scary shit happening.
And to add on to that, it's in a bad place and everyone is noticing it. And that means something, because it's like you wake up and it's just like, oh man.
In your face.
This place got blown up and all they did was exist?
It's in your face.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, especially with the information age. You are going to be aware of what's going on in the world, as you should be.
Yeah.
But
we need ways to cope with that.
Right. And back during World War I and World War II, what was the popular form of escapism?
Comics.
And escapism is not a bad thing. Everybody needs it from time to time. It was comic books. Right? Captain America #1. Front cover, he's punching Hitler in the jaw.
Yeah, let's push some positive ideas.
The world needs actual Superman. Right
so
now.
What you're telling me is, for my next podcast cover, it needs to be me punching Donald Trump?
Yeah. I'm here for it.
Okay.
Let's go.
That was quick. Although, I want to go, I'm not sure if I want to stay there too long. Let's see how this goes, but being that as America, he's not like the singular force of like nonsense. It doesn't matter who's in office. Senate and Supreme Court sucks. So it's like we could have our man Bernie in office and
shit would still be bad.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter. I mean, it would matter a little bit, but it wouldn't be this. We would celebrate and then be like, okay, nothing's gonna get passed.
Yeah. Well, something I like to say about that, and Bernie Sanders is a step in the right direction, certainly, as would several other people be. But more importantly, to the spirit of the concept here, we don't really have a two-party system in this country, because we have a very right-wing party, and we have a centrist a center-right party that likes to pass itself off as a left-wing party, but it is not.
I was saying that to my friend in the car. Can I add something to that real quick? Whereas the people who are on the left wing kind of align themselves to center right, that center party, just to get their votes, because it's like, if you're not a Democrat or a Republican, they're going to cast you off usually.
And you've illustrated the next step of my point perfectly. As System of a Down said, we can't afford to be neutral on a moving train. Centrism, neutrality, does not get things done.
No, it doesn't.
The reason why the right-wing movement has been successful in taking hold in this country and pulling things further and further right is because they're the ones doing things. We haven't had a real leftist movement in this country in quite a long time.
Decades.
And this is the result of that. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So whether it's Bernie or it's not Bernie, something's got to give.
Mm-hmm. I've been saying this for the past 2 weeks, and me and you send each other Instagram posts a lot.
Yeah.
But I've been like putting it to these specific words. We're a mostly right-wing country. We only do left-wing things in extreme times. Like every socialist or public program we have only happened because it was an extreme reaction to things. Like social services only exist because of the Great Depression. If there's no Great Depression, we wouldn't have anything to fall back on. Public school, that's a little bit longer of a history, but that was just an extreme reaction to people not being educated. The stimulus checks we received during COVID, they don't give people money. That was just an extreme reaction to a pandemic. No pandemic, we would have never got money from the government.
Yep.
So we're in a mostly right-wing country. If you even ask any like expert, if you're asking AI right now, they would say our ideals are right-wing. Like the fact that we're so focused on individualism and capitalism the way we are, those are all right-wing thoughts. We just pretend we're left-wing because of our media.
Yep. We like to, culturally, we like to espouse progressive values, and those are worthwhile things, right? But in reality, where the power is in this country, the support is not there.
I agree. All right.
All the more reason why we need a Superman-ass Superman movie.
Yeah, and hopefully it could spark something in some kid who watches one day and they could be like, I want to be more like that guy.
Hey,
art matters.
It worked for me growing up. I read Captain America, like, I like this dude.
Yeah, I mean, to bring it full circle, Facebook sucks.
It does.
Superman's good.
So
Captain America's good. Sorry, say again.
And so does Twitter.
Oh, that's not even a discussion. That's been a bad app for a while. It was a bad app before Lex Luthor took it over.
And now it's worse.
Yeah. Is he even Lex Luthor? Or is he like, is there a worse version of Lex Luthor in the comics? Is Maxwell
I was gonna say comparing Elon Musk to Lex Luthor is an insult to Lex Luthor.
So who could he be? He's the guy from Man 2, Hammer.
Oh, Justin Hammer? No, Justin Hammer was at least funny.
Huh. Like, there's not gonna be a one comparison then.
If you give me a minute, I bet I can.
Okay.
I can come up with one. Elon Musk is Carmine Falcone.
I don't know him from the comics too well. I'll be honest. I know
Gotham City mob boss.
No, I know who he is, but I don't know his comic characterization. I only seen him in.
If you want to become familiar with his comic book characterization, read.
Write this down.
What I consider to be the most important Batman storyline, period. After Frank Miller did Dark Knight Returns, he did Batman Year One.
I know Year One. Okay. I might have that in my digital archive somewhere.
And Year One is part one in a trilogy that explores not just Batman, but also Catwoman and the mob families in Gotham and so on and so forth. The Robert Pattinson Batman movie took a lot of inspiration from
the
trilogy. It's Year One, Year One, Long Halloween, Dark Victory.
I didn't know the Dark Victory part, but I did know it was Year One and Long Halloween.
Definitely read Dark Victory.
Okay, I'm gonna add that too. I'm also going to get into the Ultimate Universe, the new Ultimate comics in Marvel, and the Absolute comics in DC.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited that we're going back to the Ultimates universe because it was one of my favorite things growing up. That hit when I was like 13, 14, and oh man, just such cool takes on those characters. There's something I wanted to bring up real quick while we have a little bit of time left here. Reasons why alternate universe versions of characters are cool in certain contexts, but don't work well in others. Apropos of this Superman movie working because it's, Superman-ass Superman. Why didn't the Zack Snyder version of Superman lands the way it was intended, because it may as well have been an AU of Superman. It was so different from classic Superman.
Yeah.
But you look at what Marvel has done with the MCU, where they've introduced alternate timeline versions of characters that are, it's like, oh, that's cool. Like all the Deadpool variants in
Yes.
Deadpool 3. The difference is we already had Deadpool ass Deadpool
Right.
front and center.
You get to see the contrast now.
You cannot riff on a character without their proper context present first.
I agree.
You cannot present an alternate version of a character first. You need to have the classic or traditional version of that character as the first outing, as the here's this character, to give the context of, oh, well, here's why this alternate version is cool. Because if you don't do that, then you've got a bunch of people like me and you looking at it like, this shit's not right.
I agree. Well, I think that's a good place to stop.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got to go meal prep for tomorrow anyway. One last thing.
Sure.
This hat I've been wearing this entire time. I'm a huge fan thereof. It's my new everyday hat. Hashtag justice for Waluigi. Shout out to my friend Fee, who makes really cool stuff. This hat among them. You can check out what she does at idkdudeshop.com.
I'll put that in post-production. I'll type it out on the screen. Oh, yeah. Okay. Like the shout out. Maybe I can hit her up so I can run a little commercial for her on this.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
This is the least prepared I ever was for a podcast because traffic in Delco/City Line sucks now.
Traffic in Delco is a nightmare.
It's like,
and this week, for whatever reason, it's been horrible. I don't know, it's something in the water.
Yeah, I don't know. Hasn't been this bad for me in a while.
Yeah, I've noticed it too.
So yeah, I'm gonna do the capitalist part where I have to plug things in. So remember, follow Dan at dan.von.doom because people always forget the dots.
Yeah.
So just a dot between each word.
Dan.
If you enjoyed today's episode, click the follow button, leave me a review. If you're on Spotify or Apple, on YouTube, feel free to comment, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It's the best way to support. Oh, also share with a friend if they're into this kind of stuff. Even if they just like movies, it doesn't have to be a Marvel movie. If it's a non-Marvel movie you ever want me to review, just let me know. I'll watch it. That's all I do is watch things. More. So share with a friend. More listeners means more episodes. Yeah, that's all I got. Follow me on. I keep saying TikTok because I'm used to saying that. And I'm not even active on there.
Don't follow anybody on TikTok ever again. Just let it die.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, I like the idea of it. I just didn't use it that much.
No, the idea of it's cool.
Yeah.
The execution of it is not.
Matter of fact, let's hold that. When it actually dies, we'll talk about it.
Sounds good.
Okay. But yeah, follow me on Instagram at avatar.slang. That's avatar.slang. Not literally DOT. But do a period. Avatar period slang.
There you go.
Thank you for being part of the slang gang. And we are out.
Have a good night.